Alright, so, anyway, I am an interesting fella, I think. I've been called smart a few times, but I'm not sure about anything, so can't really put too much faith in that. However, I do have something that I probably have to explain to you people. I've been meaning to explain this for a while, but it just hasn't really cemented in the importance of doing this, but I'll try to do it, and in this video. On the first day of the Iraq War, I led many police officers into a low-speed chase on Route 3, which is the main thoroughfare to Boston never mind, Route 3. You can look that up, Google Maps and all that, whatever, and it just got across the border into Massachusetts. And it stopped me. And, well, it apparently stopped traffic like 5 hours as they searched the car for bombs. Yeah, it was not a pretty sight. However, I was ecstatic. I was very happy. Of course, this is after being completely despondent in the morning, after I'd been out and seeing that the bombs are flying again. And realizing that we have just been lied into a war. And, you know, I was more of an NPR person. You know, you look at the stats. NPR people basically knew that the shit was heading in the fan, and the rest of the population was like so embroiled in all the falsities that were coming out of the administration that they're just repeating the same lies over and over again until people started to believe them. Yeah, it's like 4 feet good, 2 feet bad. 4 feet good, 2 feet better. You know? Same old bullshit. Different day. But, yeah, I had been meaning to do something big for a while. And it came to me to do this in a moment. Have you ever been hit in the head? Well, nothing hit me in the head, but I had the same internal experience of having been hit in the head. Blackout vision, a sound that enveloped me, and instantaneous recognition that some change needed to take place. This has happened to me once before when I was despondent in college. It led me to make a suicide attempt. I am not a normal person. I'm an outlier. I'm an outlier and truth seeker. Outwardly I may lie, but internally I'm looking for the truth. Yeah, lying is evolutionarily advantageous. That's why I learned how to lie. It's a kind of form of acting where you hide the truth from another person in such a clever way that they never suspect. Now, that's the point about lying, is that you don't want to get caught, because getting caught lying is actually really bad, especially if you're doing it within a relationship. Do not lie within a relationship. It's just too hard to keep track of all the lies. What was my lie? Oh yeah, I love you. That was my lie. No, that's screwy. I have to love at will. You know what I mean? We know it. We know it. You can love at will. You just feel it. I mean, you're just trying to protect yourself from hurt later on. But if you were a real hedonist, you'd fall in love with recklessness and eternality. Of course, you wouldn't keep in touch with any of these people because they'd probably be freaks. You'd be a freaky person. Freaky. Get freaky. You gotta get your jam on. Freaky. Yeah. Anyway. So what I was trying to get to was why I did this. Why I went through the mental health system instead of the prison system. And what can be done to either prevent this or make it happen more often? Seriously, once a day there should be some idiot stopping traffic somewhere for 5 hours while they search his car for bombs. Until this whole Occupy thing rolls over. Come on, let's get some heroes out there. Just kidding. It's a bunch of nonsense. It didn't do anything. Probably hurt. That's why I haven't said anything, because I thought that I probably hurt the whole anti-war movement. But you know what? I'm just a crazy guy, okay? I mean, I do crazy shit. I think thoughts that are not like normal thoughts. Okay? Okay, I had a math degree and a liberal arts degree. I didn't get these degrees, but I did all the coursework. Did all the coursework for a math degree, and I did all the coursework for a liberal arts degree. And all I needed to do was to actually get all that matriculated together. But that's not going to happen because yes, you know what kind of education I missed? Okay, I was homeschooled. Screw you. I was homeschooled. When you guys were getting up at butt crack of dawn, I was sleeping until 10. And you know what I had to do for work? I had to do basically 2 hours worth of work per day. And it's like, oh, it's nothing, because what was essential was what was being taught. That is, keeping my mind sharp through mathematics and keeping it educated through history and theology. Not that, I mean, it didn't help me from it. All that theology didn't prevent me from becoming an atheist. Yeah, that came from geometry. The planar geometry, plane geometry, or versus spherical geometry. The whole concept that you could have two mathematical theorems, sets of theorems, completely completely saying different things, and yet them being what's the word? The word is part of logic. It's has to do with logical consistency. That is, both geometries, even though they say different things, are both co-logically consistent. They are going to be logically consistent, or they're both not going to be logically consistent. We don't know. But we've had 2,000 years on Euclid, and here this upstart comes in, and all of a sudden he's got a theorem that's just as proven as Euclid. Remember, but the whole point of that exercise was that you can't know anything with absolute certainty. The only thing you know is that you don't know anything. That's the best way I could put up with it. Is that you are now left with justification. You no longer have access to proofs. You cannot say logically this is so, therefore blah 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 blah. No, you have to start from somewhere, and you're starting from scratch. You're starting from bare metal, nothing. You're starting from ether. You're starting from nothingness. You cannot get anywhere from nothingness. That's as far down as it goes. If nothing is nothing, and nothing and nothing is nothing, and nothing and nothing and nothing is nothing. Nothing, 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 until you've got something. Okay? That's a bit from analysis. I don't know. I kind of fell asleep by the time the analysis class came. So some of my math knowledge is not well founded in my memory. But the idea of using colors that are made out of nothing doesn't sound too far-fetched. Yeah, that caused me to have a shift, because I couldn't be. There was nothing to be certain of, and I didn't really feel faith in God. It was all just tradition. And there was no real reason to believe it any more than any other religion. I could have been born in a different geographical location. I would have had a different religion. But I'm not sure whether I would have had the spirituality necessary to go through having a break with that religion and then coming back to it, or a similar religion. Right now, I consider myself a believer in God, the God of the world, whose real name is love. Love is God, God is love. When you realize love, you feel happiness. This is how I justify my belief in God, is that I feel happy when I realize love. God is love, so God, with His infinite mercy and compassion for each of us, comes in and says, and you're forgiven. You're forgiven of all your sins and all that other bullshit. Because now you just have divine retribution deal. You can't take away everything, huh? But I mean, the concept of being forgiven for sins is an important one because it allows you to get past them. If you hold your sins for eternity, then you're never going to let go of them. Never going to let go enough that you actually want to be in the presence of God. It's like I'm in purgatory, right? I've made my choice. Okay, anything I do now is going to be forgiven later because I already made my choice. It's like dogma. I mean, did the plenary indulgence thing, but I'm still alive. But wait a second, I had these experiences of death, or death-like substance, and it leads me to believe that perhaps in another universe, like Schrodinger's cat, I did kill myself, and I'm what remains. Where is consciousness in the brain? It's everywhere. But what's the last point of consciousness after death, or to death, at death? And where does that go? Where does your consciousness go? I mean, let's just think about that for a moment. Conservation of matter, energy, every form of matter and energy is conserved. I mean, that's not really that hard to understand why mathematically, because they're all potential fields, and potential fields all are conservative. And we live in a world where we expect things to be there when we return. It'd be really funny if we could find something that disappeared every time we didn't look at it. Or have we already found that? So my belief in God is more of a pantheistic belief. Not pantheistic. I mean, it's not like Indian, where they have like 3 billion prophets, or whatever the fuck they said. No, it's more like I'm not really into the Trinity. I don't see what they're getting at by saying God is a father-son. I get that father-son needs more than daughter-father. Father-daughter, pretty much stable. I mean, the daughter is going to have her way in life. It's her. She has hail to the beat. Come on. Whereas men have to man up. That's what it is. Men have to man up. That's why they need more. That's probably the reasoning behind making God a father-son, as opposed to a woman. I wouldn't really like the idea of the God, the only one God, being a female, because I have nothing to offer her. I'm so much sperm to her. I'm so much nothing. All right. See, it's. Whereas a father-son God, I can see that there's something there. You need a father and their son. Well, I can't speak from experience with sons, and really, I really don't like the idea of having a son. I'd rather have daughters, and I think that there are a few genetic tweaks that I can do to make sure that will always happen. Yes, there are only like 2 enzymes that I really need to work with, actually. I've already looked it up. Yay, Wikipedia! Gotta make sure that I only have daughters, even though I'm. No, you're not shooting blanks, you're shooting X's. No, I'm not shooting my X. But she got some. There we go. Screensaver came on. Electric sheep. Nice one. So here we are. Here's this guy who gets on the news for stopping traffic on the first day of the Iraq War. Freaks out a whole bunch of people. And because he's not Arab, he gets off free, really. Except I had to go to mental health. Actually, no, that's not true. Because, the mental health side of things is just as bad. In fact, sometimes worse. Alright, so I got in car. It's not so much important that I got a car. I'll do that later. But I really wanted to say something when I did it. had flyers already printed out. I didn't expect the war to happen, but I was prepared. It just happened to be at the same time as I was prepared that they started. But of course, you get nowadays that all that stuff becomes evidence, and no one ever looks at it. It's not true. It's not. What you're supposed to do is get on the internet and blast your message there, and stay home. Don't get arrested. Don't go out and do what I did. Do as I don't do. I did it so that you won't have to. Keep this Occupy movement on the clean. Keep it clean. That's what you want to do. Okay, they're clean in their suits and they're going to work where they think they're actually moving the economy, but they're not. They're actually making things worse. Whereas you're sitting around in your asses, with bongo drums and smoking reefer and having a jolly old good time. Fuck having a good time. Why don't you go there and face east and kneel down. Start pledging your allegiance to Allah and His Prophet Muhammad. Let's see where they go. Yes, there is no God but the God, and Muhammad is God's prophet. There, see, I'm Islam now. I'm Muslim. How do you like that? How do you like that, Mom? Ah. See, as being a bishop in purgatory, a person of fluence of holy orders, I also instituted a sacrament of masturbation. It's grave matter, by the way, and while you're in purgatory, it's grave matter too. But it's grave matter too. And you're supposed to actually think about shit while you're masturbating, because that's a great way to think about shit. It should be pleasurable, and it should be full. You should squeeze every last fucking drop out of your prostate, because you want to clean the damn thing out. That's what you're supposed to be doing anyway. That's the medical procedure that you're performing. Is you're cleaning out your prostate. And so this concept that masturbation is a mortal sin that will send you to hell, no, has been reconciled through the use of sacramentals. Because now you got the oils and you put it all over your body because you become the Christ. Okay, now any other person in the room is just like, well, now that we are all married in Christ, we can fuck with reckless abandon, and it's awesome. What do you think? I think I make a great pope down here. And I should see it now. I don't know if I should be a pope. Maybe we should all be bishops. I think. Because there has a. Well, you know what? That's essential. I don't want a centralized government in my whole world here. I'm perfectly happy with the church on earth being able to make things bind or loose in heaven or hell. But purgatory is mine. Purgatory is where I do what I think is right for me. Because that's what God wants me to do, is to do what's right for me. And making the world a better place by establishing a common good actually benefits me. It's like take a look at Tesla, right? He had this idea for wireless electricity. You're using electricity from the ionosphere or whatever the fuck it was, and you use that to whatever power anything. You get your power through an antenna. In other words, well, what if you took out the batteries out of an electric car? Could you run that on wireless electricity? Yes. An airplane? Yes. You could run a wireless airplane that would never need to land. All you'd have to do is pump electricity into the atmosphere. Just some waves, just create a wave, a standing wave around an entire planet, and suck off the teeth of society. We've got 100 years of throwing already dug out of the ground. I live in the granite state. You know what granite's good for? Heavy metals. You know what's great about heavy metals? A lot of them are radioactive. And thorium's spread pretty much evenly everywhere, but particularly in granite. I mean, we grind it up already like sand. We know what we're not using our granite as the way we need. Screw that. Hey, you know who? Remember the old man in the mountain? He fell down when I was in the hold. You know why that happened? Because the old man in the mountain's dead. You know why it happened, or who it was done for, by whom? No, you don't, and I don't either. So shut up. Yeah, that was a good coincidence, huh? Old man in the mountain gone after 500 years, all because of the Iraq War. He didn't want to face his conscience on the world. He said, "Fuck you, I'm going to hell. I'm crumbling." Like a crumble cake. Me, Mr. Mustard, sleeps in the dark hole. How are we doing here? 26 minutes. So lichens were very interesting. Yeah, I was living in California, and I just quit my job because I was so fed up with it. I was about to quit my marriage too. I was about to quit everything. I really was quitting everything. I was ending my life, you know, in a way. I was going on, moving on. I could not take the stress of my job and my family, and I left. I didn't want to come back, but I came back a day later because it's fucking cold out, and they needed a car, and I'm not one to keep them from having a car just because I want to go out and do whatever I want, whenever I want, with whomever I want, or whatever it is. Yes, I ended up in Arcata, California, a Humboldt State University there, campus. Interesting culture, weed capital of the world, the United States at least, and definitely a mecca of sorts. Used to be a computer repairman over there. That was a nice job. I liked doing that. But moved away to El Dorado, and this is one of the things that happened to me that really put me over the edge. I am a drug user, and I enjoy marijuana. I'm really not any other drug. The occasional tryptophan or phenethylene, but nothing really, nothing all that weird. I mean, you know, I like to feel those extremes. I've been there. I've been extremely happy. Right now I am mildly happier than normal, and it's allowing me to do these little videos without much hesitation. But the thing that really bothers me is that it's so easy to commit mistakes when you're on this a little bit high manic, whatever, hypomanic, or this it's really easy to make mistakes when you're feeling good. When you feel good, you're not paying attention as much to the pitfalls that are around you, and you can get in trouble. That's why I don't like crack and cocaine. I think the dopaminergic system is pretty stupid sometimes. Hello? Hi. Oh, sure. Okay. Right. 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 Yeah, what was I concerned about in order to jeopardize my freedom for? You know what that was? The technological singularity. the concept that technology is going to increase at such a rate that a normal human being is not going to be able to keep up. They're just going to be awash with new technology, and it's going to be like this. You buy the iPad 20, and the iPad 30 is out the next week. And you can't keep up. You can't keep up unless you've had, like for instance, all your brain cells replaced with like, silicon chip, blah blah blah. No, basically there's nanobots. No microscopic machines wirelessly transmitting your thoughts into a computer until you are in the computer. That is transmitting both ways. So allowing you to sense something outside yourself as being part of you. I mean, think about your legs and movement. Here's something you have to experience drugs. It's not good for you to go through this world abstaining from drugs. I recommend 30. I recommend the age of 30 to start trying drugs. I don't recommend it before 18. But you should try them. You should try marijuana. You should try salvia. And if you can get your hands on it, not DXM, but DMT. You should try acid. And you should avoid cocaine. You should avoid crack. You should avoid heroin or any of the other opiates. The opiates give you a high that's like marijuana but without the realizations. The reason why marijuana is illegal is because it gives you realizations. It makes you paranoid. The paranoid thoughts comes from making realizations that may and may not have been true, or is so far out of the normal severe thought that you have to approach it from a different angle in order to accept it into yourself. And that angle is fear. You don't want to say these things. You're thinking these things. You don't want to say these things. It's your social. It's part of the same functioning in your brain that gives you social responsibility. It tells you that it's a good thing to be socially responsible because that gets you more benefits than it does if you're constantly fighting the system. But I digress. Yeah, I'm chain smoking. It's good for me. Improves my mental health, which is far more important than my pulmonary health. I can cough up that shit that messes with my pulmonary system. I can't cough up the shit in my brain. I haven't been successful enough. But I'm pretty much happy now that I've realized love and happiness. And it's God enough for me, you know? I want to be able to talk to a person of God and actually engage them as another human being and not just another stranger. I like to know their name and remember it using a mnemonic device, you know? Yeah, it's like, oh, hi, John. I just met someone named John on the street, gave him $2 for his beer. And I remember his name because, well, what's another name for John? It's a toilet. And I remember the swishing on his nose. I liked making people's faces flush into themselves. I imagine it happening. You imagine a humorous picture word. You imagine a picture word humorously entangled with an interesting feature of another person's face or something, or clothing or whatever. This is how politicians are able to go into. I mean, a good politician, a really good politician who was really on his game, would actually be able to go into a room with 1,000 people, shake the hands of each one of them, and remember their names, and give a rousing speech done completely by memory, and then come to the door and greet everyone with the handshake and their name back to them. I could probably get this good in a year. I have a little book that has picture words already written out for them, so I didn't have to think about them on the fly. Although thinking about them on the fly allows you to do more of that. But I've been pretty successful with that method of using pictures to associate names with people's faces and so on and so forth. John is just my favorite one. So anyway, yeah, I had printed out things that I found on the internet, but it was all at a very early stage. You know, I was caught off guard. So I had printed something out, but I missed the point. I keep missing the point. It's a technological thing there that's coming. The problem is that we're getting technologies that are more dangerous. It's like, you know, it's always been easier to destroy than it has been to create. So it just makes more sense that as technology grows, the amount of death that can be rained down upon another place, you know, it just continually gets better and better and better, which is worse and worse and worse for us. And really, I don't know why there are people of good. I don't know how a person could be at good conscience and make a weapon. I mean, that shit's for target practice, and I don't think you need an H-bomb for target practice. You don't need an H-bomb for anything other than to make a doomsday device. You make a doomsday device, and all wars stop. Human rights automatically recognized. The will of the machine. I mean, it's like, let Cleverbot take over. You know who should destroy the world? God. The God we created. The God we created not out of gold in the fashion of a bull, but out of silicon in the image of our mind. If God did not exist, would it be necessary to create her or him? Is the truth a woman? Yeah, I'm not so hot on the Trinity, which is why I'm not so hot on Catholicism. Although it'd be nice if my mother gets into that. My mother's a strict Catholic, and it would help with the peace of her mind during her later ages, which is something I'm looking for. Fake it till you make it, I guess is another phrase. I like Islam. I like Islam, though. I don't need to profess anything. I think that as a bishop in purgatory, you know, in order to receive a full planetary indulgence with full pardoning of all sins ever past, present, and future, all you need to do is realize a moment of love and just let it realize onto you. That's as far as I can say. So it's not. I can't pronounce that. I can't pronounce that Arabic. Muhammad Rizulu. I can't tell you how many times I've looked at that and I just can't get my English tongue around it. But love, I can get my tongue around that. Hey ladies. Oh, that's terrible. Don't use the joke. Please don't use the joke. You just did by association. So anyway, how about no one wants to hear those things right now. Anyway, I made my way back to New Hampshire to visit my parents for a while, and I just started getting rude on the internet. I was a troll, just doing anything. Wikis were awesome. This is when Wikipedia had less than 1 million articles on it, so it was like a big deal. Less than 1 million users or some stupid thing like that. Wikipedia was new. It was a new idea. And I maintain a page over at Lord Cunningham's wiki, which is the original wiki. I don't like that version of it, actually, because it doesn't store the previous edits like MetaWiki does. There's another wiki I think out by Google. I think they call it like Google Document or something strange like that. They got away from the wiki name, but they allow multiple users to work on the same page simultaneously, each one of them viewing in real time the other's input. I really want to make wiki law into something like that, to use that kind of Ajax updating kind of script to make a page that however many people want to be editing that page in the moment needs to be. Every single character is going to be saved at what time it's been saved, and so on and so forth. I mean, it's going to be like we know what the damn thing says. It's been saying the same thing for about 27 minutes now. You know what I mean? It will reach consensus eventually. Eventually, you won't need to have massive protests of people not on Wall Street, but in their homes in front of their computer, manipulating the laws. So I'd like to call a constitutional Congress to eliminate the presidency and Congress and the Senate. I'm not sure what to do with the legislative branch, with the judicial branch yet. I think the judicial branch should have one panel member that is a wiki. At least one panel member allowed to ask questions and everything, with full rights of a justice of the Supreme Court, and every single court having this one wiki, one judge. One wiki, one judge. If we have, that means 2 judges for every trial. You know. It's like, we can't do this nowadays. For what reason? No, there are no good reasons why we can't do this. Technology has given us the means, the ability, and now the desire to take hold of our democracy and make it more democratic. Make it beyond democracy. We are demanding that we go beyond democracy. We heard about democracy, and we liked it for the few months that we probably had it for, and then everything turned to shit. So we'd like to find something more perfect to establish a more perfect union. But I didn't say that at the time, of course, and they didn't really have anything to do with me. I didn't have anything prepared. I wasn't good at public speaking. So and they really just wanted to cart me off to prison. So it wasn't like I was actually going to make a stand with the damn thing. No, I was to be shut out in a cold concrete cell with a steel toilet and no toilet paper and a really hard cut. All right. And then I was mixed in with the prison population. This is over at Bridgewater State Hospital, and it's like being in prison. You got your own cell, but it's still a cell. It's made out of concrete. You can't do anything there but bash your head against the wall. That doesn't fucking work. You're still there after you're blooding your face up. And they're just gonna keep you there longer if you do that. You know, take your candy, eat your candy. Medication time, eat your candy and you'll go home. If you don't eat your candy, you won't be able to go home. And I found that to be true in every single mental hospital I've ever been in. It's all about medication. It's all psychiatry and no psychology. It's so backwards. It's like there's no human being. There's only behaviors. We are medicating behaviors and not a human being. So in a way, I wish I went to prison. If I had gone to prison, I might have not lost these number of years to whatever I've been doing. You know what I've been doing? I've been just fucking on the internet and just reading and studying. You know, I got the liberal arts and math. Okay, those are like the pinnacles. It's like you want liberal arts so that you can have a smattering of everything, and you got math so that you can understand anything. And I got those too. So the liberal arts in me wants me to study psychiatry, psychology, neuroscience, history, religion, theology, philosophy, chemistry, biology, physics, more math. I need more math. I have a theorem that I want to prove that I'm not sure about anymore. I was really excited. I thought I proved a whole new set of unknowable numbers, but I don't know. I was looking at Cantor's hypothesis on ordinal and cardinal numbers. What was it? The incompleteness theorem? Yeah, it was the incompleteness theorem. One where there are no infinities in between the infinities of the reals and the counting numbers. Yeah, so the continuum is holy. Sometimes I wish that there was a real character that are named Q, and who would visit me every once in a while. But he hasn't shown up yet, and I got messages everywhere. I'm saying, come on, I just want to visit you. I know the continuum is all that. Let's go. Continuum demands respect. Disrespect for the continuum is unforgivable. I mean, the continuum, the Holy Spirit. Anyway, yeah, I had remote control airplanes from when I was a few years back, very much into remote control airplanes, and I took them, and I was gonna, I don't know what I was gonna do, but I was gonna fly one in a school building, that was terrible. I later found out that someone actually did something stupid like that. I'm glad I did what I did for the maximum effect, because that would have been like terrorism, and that's just terrifying people. Whereas driving 15 miles under the speed limit, into the next state over just to prove a point is well, I don't know if that's a good thing either. And that's why I've taken so long to actually speak about this in a public forum. I've written about it, but it's how writing is. You can deny that. I didn't write that. That's not me. Yeah, I don't know. But I was like, it's just gonna be so harsh in those hospitals. It's just the harsh reality of living with other people. It really changed me. It made me a better man, I think. And I got older. Quick. Now I'm an actor. You can tell. But I can do whatever I want with my face. It's just, I don't know. I used to wear glasses, and I was wearing, my wife joked, my ex-wife joked. They were called birth control glasses, but my eyes were horrible, so I needed to see. I couldn't read. My eyesight was like 2400, 2350, 20 something other, and I couldn't see. And when they extracted me from the vehicle, they didn't bother to open the door and ask me to leave nicely. They weren't very nice. No, they had a job to do, and I think when people have a job to do, they just want to get it done. And that can lead to several things that might lead you to resentment. But they're just doing their jobs, and they have to deal with assholes all the time. What do you think happens to a person who has to deal with assholes all the time? But they become an asshole too. Everyone's got one. Everyone is one. So it is what it is, and not what we think it should be. I tried to send a telegram to the president. You can't send telegrams anymore, but like the email's worth 1 point, a letter's worth 15, and wire. Well, that's got to be worth at least what 50 or 100, and that's why they do things. How important is your message? How much are you willing to pay to give it to me? Don't go up to the person then, because they won't give you the hand them the document. The word is law. The letter is law. Okay? Let them see it on their own time. But definitely like to speak to some politicians, because I don't think there's any one of the Republican candidates that I particularly like. And I don't see myself as much as a Democrat or Republican anymore. I'm very disillusioned with the Democratic Party. I think they're a bunch of idiots. I think they're well-wishing idiots, whereas the Republicans are too. They're the stupid sheep and the controlling jerks, the old children that run the world. What did it say? I think Republican politicians are smarter than Democratic politicians. I think there's more philosophy behind republicanism than democracy, than in the Democratic Party. I think that's why Republicans are so able to convince their population to vote for them, even though they include so many things like reducing Social Security benefits for people like just going to retire. And here we are, these old people saying, "Oh, we're going to vote for you people." And I went, "Hey, dude, you're going to get your Social Security cut off that way." But I wouldn't like it to happen that way. I would like it to be more even, where at least when you elect someone, you can vote for as many people as you want. You can't give 2 votes to the same person, but if you can give a vote to whoever you want, it should all be counted fairly. I mean, it is a popularity contest, is it not? You want to find out who's more popular, or who can manipulate the system most to their benefit. Right now, the system is all about manipulation. It's actually not about finding what the voters want. And so it's been just a game between these two parties, which find each other at odds with each other, like 2 teams in a sporting event. At a sporting event, no one gives a fuck who your enemies are. Your enemies are your because your enemies are just another team, trying to do the same thing you're trying to do. There's no illusions there. It's one team trying to win against another. Winners and losers for the effect of the game. It's to be But I do like the golden rule, huh? No, it's a game, right? Politics is a game. It's not a reality. and somehow people think that that's not a reality, but life is also a game, and that's about as real as it gets, other than a moment in time. I'm frustrated with the way things are. I'm worried that when we get these destructive technologies, that we'll start using them. What happens when you get a virus that can kill anyone on contact? What happens when influenza gets modified? I mean, what it can do? I mean, you could interrupt. I mean, if you could just insert the DNA for an enzyme or two, you could sterilize a person, or you could make it so that they only have female children. You could give people terrible cancers. I mean, that's just viruses that we already know about. I mean, we haven't even touched on robotics at the nano scale. We're going to have robots running around in our bloodstream that collect much more oxygen than red blood cells. And so you could oxygenate your blood so well that you could stay underneath a pool for 12 hours. You could hold your breath for 12 hours. Imagine that. These are the promises and perils of technology. All I'm saying is that wars should be considered unacceptable, unacceptably dangerous in this day and age. So I guess I want to leave you that. The only thing I was trying to say when I did my thing with the Route 3 bombing is that technology is making it impossible and unlikely and unprofitable to engage in major military actions. And therefore, I hope that this latest Iraqi war is the last major war that we have on this planet. Or at least that the next major war that we have on this planet is so far smaller than that. You can continually make things smaller. I might let you off the hook a little bit. You know, positive reinforcement. Back and forth, positive reinforcement. I'm not here to punish. I'm here to reward those who are on the side of righteousness and to commiserate and to well, you know what? The unbelievers can face the fire, but of course Allah is most merciful and forgiving, and often forgiving. So Allah Akbar. Oh, the outro music. We gotta do that. Where is it? Here we go. Dude, I think the song's over. Yeah, we better get out of here. Hi.